Algorithms know us better than we know ourselves, and they control us without us noticing the strings. Yuval Harari. A cold glow in your eyes. Thousands of shimmering faces online, a sea of emojis and comments promising connection. But the soul echoes. Thousands of friends online. But do you feel alone? Think of the infinite feeds, the likes that pile up like copper coins with no real value. The superficial conversations that never fill the abyss of intimacy. You are surrounded, yet loneliness bites. What happens when the technology that promises to unite us in reality traps us in a glass cage, where connection is merely an illusion? When hyperconnection becomes the veil that hides the most brutal solitude. Yuval Harari, the thinker who unveiled the fiction of the digital age, already warned, algorithms know us better than we know ourselves, and they control us without us noticing the strings. Your social networks are not a refuge. They are an arena. You were programmed for external validation, for the performance of an ideal self. Your days become a relentless search for approval, for a sense of belonging that the screen can never provide. A life by pixels, empty and without echo. Solitude in the era of hyperconnection is not a paradox. It is the palpable pain of a soul lost amidst the noise. It is evidence that we traded real human experience for a controlled simulation, for an embrace that doesn't warm. If this provocation hit you at your most vulnerable core, if you feel the invisible chains of digital solitude tightening around your heart, this video is a brutal mirror, ready to break the walls of this shimmering prison, ready to rediscover the real. You weren't born to live behind a screen, programmed for validation in likes and comments. You were born with the innate capacity for deep connection, to feel presence, to build flesh and blood bonds, with all their imperfections. But you were conditioned to superficiality, to the digital spectacle, to the belief that the quantity of friends is more important than the quality of intimacy. From your first login, society whispered the lie. Be popular, share everything, always be connected. Apps were meticulously designed to addict, to create reward cycles that activate your dopamine centers with every notification, keeping you trapped in endless scrolling. Your focus was fragmented, your ability to be truly present eroded. This is behavioral engineering in its coldest, most addictive essence, a system that trains you to perform, not to be authentic, that rewards you for an empty interaction, stealing your vital energy and precious time. Think of the intermittent positive reinforcement of the flashing heart, the validating comment, the notification that promises news. Each of these micro-stimuli reinforces your presence online, keeping you chained to the illusion of connection. And behavioral finance bias enters here brutally. The attention economy, that invisible money machine, monetizes every second of your online time. Tech companies profit from your digital solitude, from your desperate search for belonging, selling your data and behavior to advertisers who exploit your insecurities. You fall into emotional and financial debt, spending on devices, on upgrades, on products that promise digital status, all to maintain the facade of a connected life, while real loneliness tightens its grip. Robert Cialdini, in his Laws of Persuasion, shows how social proof, millions of friends can't be wrong, and scarcity, don't miss this trend, this connection, this online experience, are used to manipulate your perception. They sell the illusion of community and relevance, but you are the product, your intimacy the price, and your solitude the ultimate outcome. You were indoctrinated to love your digital chains because they promise false comfort, a refuge from the complexity of real relationships instead of the true freedom of being who you are. Offline, you feel a persistent emptiness, a silent echo in the whirlwind of notifications, a sense that something essential is missing, even with a schedule packed with online events, with an inbox overflowing with messages. Your mind splits between the carefully constructed digital persona and the real loneliness that haunts you in moments of silence. This is your internal fragmentation, the price of your soul surrendered to the illusion of hyperconnection, to the incessant pursuit of external validation that never quenches the thirst for genuine intimacy. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, manifests in what you repress to fit the digital persona. Your vulnerability, your need for physical contact, your difficulty dealing with offline rejection, your secret envy of real connections that seem so distant. All this is pushed into the abyss of the unconscious, fueling anxiety and a sense of inadequacy. And what you repress commands you from the shadows of your digital and real life. It sabotages you with online procrastination, with the addiction to comparing your life with others' filters, with the difficulty in disconnecting and being present in the physical world. The shadow uses hyperconnection as an escape, but also as a prison, where comparison and ephemeral validation never bring inner peace. Yuval Noah Harari reminds us that algorithms know us intimately and exploit our vulnerabilities. The trauma of not feeling truly seen and connected in the real world is exacerbated by the curation of perfect lives online, creating a vicious cycle of seeking acceptance that never materializes. Your own ability to build deep relationships atrophies under the weight of superficial interactions and constant comparison. You project your shadow onto those who seem disconnected, onto those who resist the culture of hyperconnection, because seeing their freedom, even if it appears lost to the digital world, means confronting your own dependence and the fear of being alone with yourself, without constant online validation. Your identity becomes an avatar, a carefully edited digital representation. You are not who you are. You are who you perform to be for others on screen, while real loneliness corrodes your authenticity. How much of your vital energy is drained by maintaining this digital facade? How much of your capacity for real connection is lost in the endless scroll? If this truth provoked you, if you feel the weight of digital loneliness pressing on your soul, comment below. I choose real connection. You seek freedom. But why do you feel so empty? Trapped in a world of pixels and notifications, even with the freedom of having thousands of online friends, with infinite communities that promise belonging and validation. The freedom they promised you was unlimited connection. But hyperconnection stole even the ability to be truly present, to feel the depth of a gaze, the nuance of a real voice. The freedom to scroll feeds, to see perfect lives, to feel in the loop. But digital solitude chained you to a screen, to a routine of validation and comparison that seems insurmountable, like a shimmering yet cold web. This is false freedom. A glittering glass prison where control is an illusion and existential emptiness deepens with every superficial interaction, every like that doesn't fill, every connection that doesn't nurture. The system sells you the illusion of digital community, of a place where everyone understands you. It transforms your human need for belonging and intimacy into a dopamine trap, into fleeting spikes of ephemeral relief when you receive a notification, leaving a trail of chronic dissatisfaction and an insatiable craving for more. Think of the social media and metaverse industry. It doesn't need to force you to be alone. It just needs to offer a constant flow of easy validation, idealized profiles, games that simulate fulfillment and connection, and profit flows, dripping from your loneliness. This is solitude capitalism. It profits from your search for meaning, from your inability to connect to anything beyond the material or the virtual. Your time, your attention, your very pursuit of happiness, all monetized by the engine of masked disconnection. Behavioral finance bias operates here brutally. How often have you found yourself spending on avatar upgrades, on trending products seen in feeds, on trips that were more for photos than for living, just to maintain the facade of a connected and happy life? The pursuit of online validation shapes your finances, transforming money, which should be a means to real freedom and experience, into fuel for your own virtual prison, a trade for acceptance that never arrives. Yuval Noah Harari taught us about the algorithm's ability to know us better than we know ourselves and to manipulate our choices. You are framed in the narrative that digital connection is superior, that solitude is a flaw to be filled by more screen time. You are not deciding. You are obeying the voice of digital validation, the script of always be online that the system gave you. To maintain the illusory order of your network, the stability of platform profits, the manufactured peace of your hyperconnected soul, Rupture isn't a mass unfollow. It's a relink to yourself, A reconnecting with the feel of the earth beneath your feet, with the depth of a human gaze without filters. It's when you realize that true connection isn't about quantity, but about presence. Authentic reconstruction begins in the silence of your disconnection, in the courage to allow yourself boredom, the absence of constant stimulation, the stillness that the digital system so fears, because it prevents it from controlling you. You free yourself from the need for digital validation, embracing the only certainty: your capacity to build flesh and blood bonds, with all their imperfections. Gabor shows us, the root of loneliness in the era of hyperconnection is the trauma of disconnection from the authentic self, from the ability to find satisfaction in depth and not in superficiality. The incessant pursuit of external validation is a flight from real vulnerability. The cure is reconnection with your integrity, with the ability to be present, to feel life in its totality, without digital filters. It is the silent strength that emerges when you stop performing and start being. This is true disobedience. Disobeying the culture that wants you glued to the screen, the script of popularity that the system insists on selling. Disobeying your own self-sabotage that prevents you from living the real. It is an act of existential rebellion that redefines what it means to be human. It is a choice, a radical choice, to abandon the false security of digital interactions, of the comfort zone of a virtual community without depth, for the uncertainty of authentic human interaction, for the risk of living fully, for the vast landscape of your own soul that yearns for real bonds, an autonomy that is priceless, because it costs your influencer identity and gives you back that of a present human being. Yuval Harari invites us to question the fictions that control us. Your life is not a profile to be curated, but a journey to be lived, with every hug, every deep conversation, every moment of presence as an affirmation of your own fullness. You will lose the fear of being disconnected. You will stop sabotaging yourself with the incessant pursuit of likes and shares, because there will be no part of you hidden behind an avatar, no vital energy wasted feeding the illusion. Your soul, free from pixel chains. Thousands of friends online, but do you feel alone? Reconnect with the real and conquer digital solitude. True connection is not in the quantity of pixels, but in the quality of presence, in the warmth of a real embrace. How does the technology that connects us also isolate us from real human experience? It traps you in a glass cage where connection is merely an illusion. You are not your profile. You are not your avatar. You are not your follower count. You are a consciousness capable of intimacy, of depth, of feeling life in its totality, capable of inhabiting the present, beyond the shimmering distractions. The price of freedom is not speech, but the courage to break the silence the system imposed on you. The courage to unplug, to disconnect, to reconnect, to be authentic in a world that wants you performative. Choose your presence, even if it means fewer likes, even if it leads you down a solitary path of self-discovery before finding real bonds. This is your deepest freedom, to be who you truly are, beyond digital solitude, beyond the paradox of hyperconnection, beyond the glass prison. If something awakened in you in this video, if the pixel walls seem to disintegrate in your soul, comment, "I see beyond the veil of hyperconnection." And to help you reconnect with your essence and conquer digital solitude, Digital Detox for the Soul, Essential Guide to Conscious Disconnection is your next step. Link in description. Share this content with anyone living trapped in the illusion of digital connection. And if you want to keep breaking cycles with me, subscribe now. The shadow you avoid controls you. Freedom only frightens, until you discover you were ready all along. Rupture is the beginning. Consciousness is the path to your real presence.